I will never quit. These 4 words form more than just a sentence. They forge an identity, a relentless declaration of intent that reshapes your reality. It's not about wishful thinking or vague motivation. This is a decision, a command. You give yourself one that overrides feelings, circumstances, and even failure. When spoken with conviction, it becomes a vow, etched into the foundation of who you are and what you stand for. You're not just saying something to feel better. In the moment, you're building a framework for how you will respond to the inevitable trials life throws at you. There's a shift that happens when those words become more than a motivational phrase. They become a personal standard. You begin to carry yourself differently. You wake up with purpose, not just to get through the day, but to conquer it. The phrase, "I will never quit," isn't a plan B, it removes the plan B entirely. It creates a mindset where giving up isn't even a consideration. Every choice, every action starts to align with this declaration. It demands that you raise your standards, that you become the kind of person who keeps going long after most people would have stopped. This kind of commitment doesn't come from convenience. It's forged in adversity. It's easy to say, "I'll never quit," when everything is going your way. But what happens when the storms come, when doors close, when you fail publicly? When you're broke, tired, alone, and no one believes in what you're doing, not even you sometimes? That's when the declaration is tested. That's when it becomes more than words. That's when you dig deep and find something inside yourself that refuses to surrender. And once you tap into that, once you fight through even one of those moments, you start to see yourself differently. You begin to trust yourself. And that trust becomes a kind of inner fire that keeps you moving even when everything around you is trying to stop you. The real power of the phrase lies not in the moment you say it, but in the moments you choose to live by it. In the moments when quitting would be the logical option, the easier path, the socially acceptable out, but you say no. Not this time, not ever. There's something unexplainable about people who make up their minds like this. They walk into rooms differently. They show up with intensity. Their presence says everything before they even speak. They don't chase motivation, they move with purpose. They don't need to be told to keep going. They've already made that decision on the inside. And when you make this decision, it doesn't mean you won't fall. You will. Sometimes hard. But the difference is that you always get back up, always, because quitting was never part of the agreement you made with yourself. Failure becomes a part of the process, not a reason to stop. Pain becomes a signal, not a dead end. You don't pretend it's easy, but you decide it's worth it. And that's what separates those who make history from those who simply watch. It being made, you have to realize that the world doesn't owe you understanding. People might not get your vision. They might laugh, doubt, criticize, or ignore you. But if you've made the commitment to never quit, then their opinions are just noise. You're not waiting for validation. You're not looking for permission. The decision has already been made. You're going to keep showing up. Keep building, keep fighting, no matter what it takes. This level of mental discipline isn't born overnight. It's a daily practice, a choice you reinforce every single day through your habits, your words, and your actions. You train your mind to stay committed. You speak it until it becomes your default response to hardship. You wake up and act like someone who doesn't quit, not just when it's convenient, but especially when it's not. There will be days when your body is tired, when your mind is overwhelmed, and when the gap between where you are and where you want to be feels impossibly wide. That's when you remind yourself, I've already made the decision. I've already eliminated quitting as an option, so what's left? Adapt, endure, keep going. That kind of focus becomes your superpower. It silences doubt, it shrinks fear. It drowns out every excuse trying to justify mediocrity, and make no mistake, life will test this decision. You will face circumstances that feel unfair, overwhelming, and impossible. But the strength to endure them won't come from hype or fleeting inspiration. It will come from the clarity of that inner vow. The fire that says, I don't care how hard it gets. I don't care how long it takes. I will never quit. Asterisk, this isn't about arrogance or false confidence. It's about commitment. It's about becoming a person whose actions speak louder than their words. Someone whose life is the proof of what they've said all along. You won't have to shout it from the rooftops. People will feel it in your energy, in your consistency, in your grit. Because when you truly decide that quitting is no longer a part of your vocabulary, everything about the way you operate begins to shift. You stop negotiating with your goals. You stop second-guessing your value. You stop reacting to setbacks like they're signs to turn around. You start walking like you belong in every room. You start speaking with authority, not because you've arrived, but because you're not stopping until you do. Asterisk, and that's the point. This kind of mindset creates momentum. The more you show up, the stronger your belief becomes. The more you resist the urge to quit, the more you realize how much you're capable of. You don't get softer in adversity, you get sharper. You don't run from pressure, you rise through it. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, you become someone unstoppable. Someone who's not just chasing a dream, but embodying a mission. Every setback becomes part of your story. Every scar becomes part of your armor. And every time you say those words, I will never quit, you're not just repeating a phrase. You're reminding the world exactly who you are. Asterisk.